Hello, this is Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show. My co-host Bill Morton is here today, and I am Trudy Leong, administrator of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, and of course, Bill is the president of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. Hey, Bill, how are you feeling?
It's wonderful to be back. It's been a very long time, many months, almost, well, half a year almost.
Yeah, five months. I think it happened in August. Right now it's January, so 5 months. Yeah, but
So it's been a very long time. Recovery is really very difficult and painful. And just let you all know I'm here, although I'm in a lot of pain right now.
do you what have you learned? It's been a long time.
Well, let's start with the beginning. I was injured at Jarvis Station, the Red Line Station, and I'm not going to get into all the details of it, but it was involving the staircase. And my foot is normally like this, and it ended up something more like that because my ankles dislocated, and my fibula on both the top and the bottom broke, and so it just destroyed me. And so I had to go immediately to St. Francis and get onto the morphine derivative dilaudid injection. It was injected into me, and they had to cut me open by surgery where they had both sides of my leg cut there and there and there, and they put a plate in about this part over here, and then they put screws over here by my ankle. So my range of motion in my right leg is not at all what it used to be. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of pain. I've been at Clark Manor. It's a nursing home or facility for many different reasons. A lot of people are there for a lot of different reasons. I'm there for my injury. A lot of people stay there for 9 years or maybe more or less years. People pass away in the place because they're there until they pass away. And there's a lot of elderly and people with disabilities, behavioral disabilities. There's a floor for that underneath mine on the 4th floor, and the 3rd floor is dementia patients, and the first, 2nd, and 5th floors are people that have access to the elevators and aren't on lockdown floors. So there's a lot going on with this scenario, this situation I'm in. But I've been in a facility, institutionalized for about 5 months.
How hard is it to get medicine? Like, what do you have to go through?
Well, it depends. Throughout my journey through this serious injury, I had to get pain relief in the St. Francis emergency room before and after surgery. They were unable to manage my pain. The pain levels are 1 through 10, and it's subjective as to like how you feel and what your experience with pain is and different things like that. But I was at a 10. I was just topping it off at a pain level of 10 for my whole entire 6 days at St. Francis, before and during and after the surgery. So they had me on dilaudid, and then they wanted to kind of taper that off a little bit, and then I had to have a lot of pain when they tapered it off because they had to do that before they got me into whatever nursing facility I would go into. I chose Clark Manor because it's in Rogers Park. It's on Clark Street. It's on the same block as where Trudy works, her Jewel. And I did it to not be such a burden on Trudy because I knew I'd be bedridden I knew I would not be able to physically get off of my bed. My injury was so bad that I could not move at all. Like any little twitch of a move, any little pinky toe move was a 10. It was just unbelievable and unbearable. So I had to go through all that, and so I wanted to have Trudy visit me every day, and so I decided with less disruption on her life. So I decided to get Clark to go to Clark Manor. Other ones were suggested. Oh, there's a good one in Evanston with rehab. There's a good one with rehab in Skokie. They'll take care of you. But really, as public transit people and pedestrians and non-drivers, as we are, that would have been impossible with the things that we have to do on a regular basis for Trudy to come visit me, especially since things such as like running the Chamber of Commerce, doing this television show, doing our radio show on WLUW, creating the Wizard News on WZRD 88.3 FM, or the PSAs that we do on that radio station, taking care of my dog, all these things that we used to do jointly and split up the task and do together to be more efficient and more synergistic, let's just say. It all had to go on to Trudy because I was completely incapacitated. Your question about the drugs. After St. Francis, I went to Clark Manor, and they could not inject me with pain relief. I was doing Norco every 6 hours. I don't think I ever got to every 4 hours, but it was every 6 hours. And I was on Norco for the longest time, for many, many months. Just recently got off of it. They just cut it on me too. I happened to be sick, and they cut it on me all at once, and that was the worst week I may have ever had, really, because you've got the withdrawals from the narcotics, and plus I was physically like kind of flu or a cold sick, so I was just miserable for over a week with that. Then they put me on the gabapentin, which was to help me with my nerves.
Nerve pain.
Mm-hmm. My nerve pain, because they cut into my nerves. They cut into my nerves on both sides, and major damage with the surgery and with the injury and with the surgery, with this metal inside of me, and it's a foreign object, and we don't know how that was going to play out, but it's platinum, I'm told. And so that's the best way to go, I've heard.
Titanium, I think?
Titanium.
Yes.
Titanium, not platinum. Platinum would be too expensive.
Yes. So, do you want to talk about how hard it is to get x-rays to see where the state of where your bones are at right now?
Sure, okay. Sure. The x-rays, I wanted to get x-rays, and they gave me x-rays, of course, at St. Francis. The site of the injury. Then they gave me x-rays afterwards at St. Francis. Then I went to Clark Manor, and then I went to Thoric Hospital, and they gave me an x-ray. And they did the procedure of an x-ray, but they would not give me the x-ray. Like today, I would have been really happy to show you my x-rays. I think that'd be really cool. Show you how bad this injury is. What a quote unquote train wreck my leg is. And the metal, you can see those screws, they look like your wall screws. Like you just drill it in. It looks exactly like your long wood screws. It's really interesting, and I wanted to show you all a real in-depth digital copy today, but they wouldn't give them to me. I asked for other records, and they wouldn't give them to me. St. Francis has this whole procedure. Clark Manor has another procedure. Thoric has another procedure. And Clark Manor, I've asked for all kinds of different records, because it's that thick. It's in these banker's boxes of records over 5 months, and I haven't even received the minimum. I've asked for so many records, I haven't received the minimum. So I wanted to share that with us today to kind of like show like the procedure of if you are in a situation like this, here's how it happens, and here's what you have to watch out for, and here's the documentation, and here's what happens with your injury and how they treat you, and here's the dosages of drugs they may give you, and how hard it is for them to, the request back and forth. But no, they wouldn't give it to me. So I really, it's more difficult to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. And it seems as if when you get your medicine, they say that it's certain hours apart, but then the hours shift, and it's so confusing.
Well, there are the hours shift, and the prescriptions expire, and those are two aspects of it. Like I would have it every 6 hours, have it my Norco every 6 hours, along with 2 gabapentin in the morning, and two at night at 7 or 9 a.m., one at 1 p.m., and then another 2 around 5 p.m. And then there'd be some ibuprofen or extra strength Tylenol I can get in the middle just to kind of curb the pain a little bit more, which doesn't do too much, but then they switch up this. They switch it up. Like you have to speak with a whole bunch of different people. It's a whole bureaucracy, and then you get your schedule down, and then they change it. All of a sudden, you got it. You're moving. Okay, we could do this. I understand this. Then they change your dosage. Then they change it from every 6 hours to every 8 hours, or every 10 hours, or they try to get you off of it. And then you have to fight to keep it because you need your pain management. And then if your prescription ends, it might not just end and then the next one is, seamlessly. No, that doesn't happen. It didn't come in yet, or we need to prescribe you again your new prescription for it after a week or 2 weeks or so, 14 days usually it is, and there's a gap. So that's a very painful gap where your body is kind of getting used to the rhythm of the nursing facility and needing those pain relievers, those prescription drugs to sustain and not feel all of that pain all the time, so I can actually try to work on my range of motion without being a 10, and learning how to walk again, where I can actually do it, where I can sustain the pain to do it, because without the medication I can't.
Mm-hmm. And then of course you have a friend that gave you those bands so that you could help you to extend your range of motion, like
Mm-hmm.
pull your foot toward you so that
Mm-hmm.
break the scar tissue.
Right.
But that was painful with in the beginning, right?
I couldn't do any of that in the beginning. And the thing about the rehab, don't get me started on the rehab. Rehab was basically non-existent. And I could say good things about Clark Manor all day long, up and down. I will say that the housekeeping, I will say the nurses, I could say the CNAs, everybody has been so very good to me, and true professionals, and very polite and understanding and everything. But when it comes down to rehab, that was a real issue, because they gave me six orthopedic rehab sessions, and 6 of the ones for my arms. They're occupational rehab sessions, but that was like total. And they just told me, oh, your insurance isn't going to cover anymore. You're just going to get 6, and that's a problem. And they won't even look into, oh, you're insured. They just say that, they're not. Well, let me see the documents. Let's talk about this. Let's work this out. Let's figure out a way so I can get the treatment I need. Maybe I need outpatient rehab or something. They don't want to hear about it. I asked for a reference to an outpatient, a reputable outpatient rehab, so I can walk as well as I could again, and it never happened. So it's just the rehab is the real issue, and the timing was absolutely the worst. I was on the bed where I could not move at all. I could not move. I had this boots, the cam boot on, and the cam boots, and I couldn't even, when they took the Velcro off, it would shake it a little, and that would make me cry in pain. That was so bad. Well, what is this? The CNA didn't understand how badly, severely injured I was and how much pain I was in. And, they wanted to give me the rehab during that time. That's the point I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. They wanted to give me the rehab when I couldn't even move my foot, when I couldn't get up, when I couldn't get out of bed. One of them said, well, we're going to go stretch out your legs today, Bill. I said, what do you mean stretch out my legs? Well, we're going to walk. I said, well, I can't get out of this bed. How am I going to walk? Well, you know how to walk, she said. You've walked your whole life. Come on, let's get up and walk. And that was one of my rehab sessions. Another one, housekeeping just mopped my floor. And they come at whenever they feel like it. Like there's no schedule that I can know about. So I'm surprised. And she comes in and she's like, okay, we're gonna get up. We're gonna exercise. This is a little bit down the line when I can actually get up out of the bed a little bit. I said, well, for one, I've got my leg and foot is in a wrap with my toes out. I don't have any of those non-slip socks, and I'm not going to touch that dirty floor with my feet like that. And two, she just mopped with bleach. I don't want to have my skin touching the bleach and all whatever the chemicals it is. And three, the floor was slippery when I first hurt myself. And I'm not going to stand and try to walk on a slippery floor. And she was just looking at the floor like, is it slippery? Is it slippery? It's just like, I said, I can't do this right now. And
no empathy.
And she walked away. And guess what? That was another one of my rehabs, my 6 rehabs. So story after story, my 6 rehabs were wasted. And when I really needed them, when I was actually starting to walk with the walker, when I was trying to stretch and when I was trying to figure out what my boundaries are and recover and get out of this place, they're not showing me how to do the stairs. They forbade me from using the stairs. I need to be able to do the stairs to be able to go back home to our apartments because there are stairs. The head of the rehab said, you have an elevator? And I go, yeah, well, then you could go home. I said, well, if there's a fire, you're not supposed to use the elevator, and you should know this. And secondly, I can't use the stairs, and you're not giving me any. You've got a full rehab center there with a little treadmill, with like a little fake set of stairs with railings, with the belt so I don't fall, and all these things. They never offered those to me. Other people said they've been to them, but those were a different set of staff. So I could say Clark Manor good things all day to you, and I appreciate how well you've taken care of me. But the rehab, I'm sorry. You get an F on it. You get an F on rehab.
So when there was something that I wanted to ask you. Anyway, so you have been for over 10 years before this happened. You were a president of the Chamber of Commerce. You taught me how to advocate for businesses and then how to pay attention to details and stick up for businesses and for people. And then you had all that experience and you still could not help yourself to get rehab in Clark Manor, and that's how difficult it is. Imagine all the other residents that do not have your experience, our experience in dealing with the bureaucracy and detail to get the business done. How would they fare in conditions like that?
And just to emphasize this, Trudy and I, we spoke at city council chambers. I've ran for alderman. We've done a lot of debating. We've stood up for small business owners that needed it, that were unfairly charged bills due to language barriers, different things. We fight for ourselves. But when you're the patient, and you're, even me being the patient, and Trudy coming over almost every day, they treat you differently. They treat you differently than a person that from the outside. And it really feels like sometimes you're and others have said this, that you feel like you're not a person anymore, or you're not a person to them. You're not a human. You're not a human being. You're just a number. And you could say things until you're blue in the face, and you can say them the correct way, and you can learn better ways to argue your point of your needs, your basic needs. But they're not going to listen to you unless you really stick up for yourself, and you have somebody from the outside coming in and sticking up for you as well on your behalf. A lot of these people, especially the fourth floor, the behavioral disorders, they're in an elevator. I hear a guy saying, "Help, help me," all day long. He's screaming in the vent for somebody to hear. I don't know what the situation is, but there are people who have the will to do things or have basic needs that need to be met, and it's kind of like they're not acknowledging them. I guess that's it. They're not acknowledging them at all, and whatever argument they have is never good enough.
Because in the beginning, you asked questions because you just wanted to understand what was going on, and then let's say if they don't meet your needs, and then you ask about why and all this and so forth. But then later, when you tried asking them for something, they ran away.
Yes, because I ask questions, because I stick up for myself. They come in because they have to check in sometimes when they start their shifts. And I ask them a question, or a specialist comes in, and I go, oh, Mr. Morton, okay, hi, okay, I want to check this, that, and they want to check whatever. And they shoom, wait. I've got a question about this. I haven't seen you in 2-3 weeks. You're the specialist for example, wound care. I don't know if that was the one, but you're the specialist in this, and I need to ask you some questions. And they'd be like, oh, I don't have the time. I've got to go. And it's always like that with most of the specialists. Once they found out that I ask the questions and stick up for myself, and when I need something, I ask for it. Or if I don't know something, I ask why. And a lot of the people have been conditioned in these facilities to not ask the questions, to not stick up for themselves, and to not have any ambition or any hope for getting out of there ever, becoming independent again. I've been criticized for being too independent, that other people are much worse than you, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't get my rehab that I'm here for. And so that happens all the time.
If our viewers want to learn more about what is going on and learn more about maybe how to fare better in an institution like this, do you have any advice for them?
Stick up for yourself. Get someone from the outside to come in and visit you, hopefully every day. Make the phone calls. There are organizations that are out there to help you. And, just keep strong. Keep strong and stick up for yourself and your rights. And that's the most important thing you can do.
And don't give up.
No, never give up.
For instance, your x-rays, you only had like printouts of words, but you wanted the images, and even that you couldn't get.
I asked for the images, and she gave me like a written description of what the x-ray physician interpreted the x-rays, but I wanted to see the x-ray. I wanted to, in relation to my pain, know where the screws are, and I asked 8 times, and I haven't got them yet.
Yeah, if you had all the images and you could see the progression of what the scar tissue became, what the scar tissue eventually, if any of it is broken off. So, okay. Thank you so much for watching Community Unity Now, the D Tycoon Show. From Bill Morton, President of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce, and me, Administrator Trudy Leong of the Rogers Park Chamber of Commerce. We thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again next week.